Welcome everyone to another episode of the Definitive Crusade. I am Johnny the Grinch the Machine Hughes, who's not all dressed up for Christmas. However, let's not have that spoil our fun as we have the lovely festive Freyja.
Hi.
Freyja, how's it going?
Good.
Excellent. And at the time of recording, we don't know whether we've been good or bad. So in order to find out if we make the naughty or nice list, it's Sunday!
Merry Christmas! Have all of you been good this year?
Well, I've been real good, Santa.
Well, I'll have to check my list.
Check it twice, dude. Check it twice.
Oh, no.
Hello, everyone.
It is
I, the knight. I decided to dress up a bit.
Dress up a bit. If I'd known that, I would have dyed my hair in normal colour.
I mean, grey is normal. I'm just saying.
I suppose, grey is the new black, right?
Yes.
Right.
So, season's greetings, everyone. How are you feeling? You all ready for the big day?
Yep.
Feeling good. I'm already full.
I made
cookies.
I made 60 plus cookies yesterday, so
yeah.
I made 3 pans of cookies, and half of them are gone just from me.
Okay.
Oh jeez, nah.
Well, my kid said, "Can we leave a cookie in a glass of milk out for Santa?" And I said, "I think Santa prefers cause."
Oh jeez.
Yeah, leave some hard schnapps out for Santa instead.
You want to put tequila on the side just to help him get through those cold nights.
Right. Warm you right up. Just
that'll give me a red nose. Screw me. All right, excellent. So a bit of a change from our normal format. The show's coming out after Christmas. Publishing does take a little bit of a backseat to the Christmas hauls, especially when you've got Christmas Day and Boxing Day falling on weekdays, affecting distribution. So we thought, instead of like looking at books that we know is already going to be Christmas specials this or Christmas specials that, we thought we'd have a look at the year gone by and pick a few of our favorite books to talk about. Matthew made an interesting point in our off-camera chat this week, because we kind of all put our heads together. And Matthew, you came up with the phrase with, there's not really a lot to talk about. There's not really any standout, like, wow books as there has been in yesteryear. Do you still feel that way after casting about?
I do. After looking through all of the comics that we've had throughout this year, it's very pale in comparison to last year's, because last year we had 2 of my favorite book series. We had Task Force Z and DC versus Vampires.
That's right. Yeah.
So like this year I had some high expectations going into this year, and looking back through, there were some good books. I think one that is quickly becoming my new favorite is one that I've put out in this list. We discussed it two episodes ago.
I wonder which one that is.
I know, right?
Issue 3 is the one to watch out for, apparently.
But yeah, compared to last year,
it's interesting because I think DC Vampires snuck around. It kind of snuck up on us. Whereas this year, Freyja, we've had the big push for Dawn of DC, early doors, and then we had Night Terrors after that. I don't think either one has actually blown loads of people away. You know what I'm saying? I think, Dawn of DC, you had a Cyborg book, you had a Green Arrow book. Has Dawn of DC worked? Has it revitalized the roster for DC? Freyja?
No.
This is what I love about doing the show. I give you such a big run up and you're like, no.
What do you want from me?
Commentary, woman, commentary. So I suppose Night Terrors, and we are going to get into that. It was probably the big sell, and I think it was good to see some of the characters coming back. Matthew, you talked about Zatanna, and we'll get into her in a little while. I think if anything, that she's probably been like the remembering character of the year with Lazarus Planet. She was a player. She was a player in Night Terrors, and now we saw her recently in the Batman's Santa Claus book. So you know, I think she's probably one of the surprise additions.
So make a small appearance in the Batman versus Catwoman run. She made a small appearance somewhere.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe a pair of fishnets did. I don't know what. So in that case, fishnets aside, we're going to go into our first book, and this one was one of Freyja's choices. It's Superman Meshi, written by, and I'm going to get it wrong, so apologies right now.
Do you want me to say it?
I'm going to go with it. I'm going to see if I can do it. See how I do. All right. I'm going to go with Satoshi Miyagawa, with art by Kai Kitago.
No.
Close. Not bad.
So it was pretty good, yeah. His name is Satoshi Miyagawa and Kai Kitago. What?
I got that bit.
Kai Kitago.
Kai Kitago. Yeah. Yeah.
I got that one wrong. Oh.
Yeah. You were really close, though, so I'm proud of you.
Oh, bless you.
Good job.
He's learning. He's learning.
He is.
Watching anime has worked this year. Woo! Thank you for thigh highs and short skirts. All right, okay.
Yeah.
Yay. All right, so what was so good about this book? Because we did look at one of the issues, I believe.
We looked at two of them. We looked at the Aquaman one, and we looked at like the second one or something like that. Yeah, so this one, Meshi just means meal for people who don't know. So it's Superman versus meals, like food. So, so the whole premise is Superman goes to Japan, and he just eats their food because he decided he really likes their food. And it's very much in the manga style, which I love manga, so that kind of was like near and dear to me. I was like, yeah, I like this. It had the weird manga quirks, which you pointed out one time. You're like, well, the face looked weird. I'm like, well, that's standard manga. I don't know the term for that type of face, but that's so standard in manga that it doesn't even faze me. And you know, sometimes I like these because it wasn't trying to push a political message. It was just Superman being Superman and going, after he saves the day, he's like, I'm hungry. And he goes and he eats somewhere. And I just thought it was silly. It was fun. I just enjoyed just a regular, like, ridiculous superhero thing. And that's why I liked it this series. Because, yeah, it's not anything groundbreaking. It's silly. It's stupid. But sometimes you just got to have silly and stupid. Even though... Because life is hard. Life sucks. You know, being an adult's difficult. Sometimes you just want fun stupidity. You know?
I said recently the big lie about Christmas.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell anyone who's listening now, but the thing I found out about Christmas and becoming an adult, you got to wrap your own shit, man. That takes some time.
Well, you can the stores will wrap it for you for like an extra couple bucks.
Yeah,
you can do like I do and just get bags and then throw them in the bag and
pay $3 for Amazon to wrap it for you.
No.
That's $3 I can spend on something else.
In a comic book. So Meshi means meal. This is Superman. Matthew, this is a great way for anyone who wants to get into manga. It's an easy way to get into it. It's, dare I say, food for the soul, because it's just a nice break from the nitty gritty of DC.
There's definitely food for thought.
Yeah, the food looks great. It makes me hungry every time.
Thinking about them cookies has gotten my stomach rumbling again.
Yeah, I don't think there's any cookies in Meshi. I might be fortune cookies. I don't know. Maybe.
Nah, fortune cookies were made in San Francisco. They're not even Asian.
Oh.
Well, then the more you know.
The more you know.
So there you go. There's one myth destroyed.
Yeah, you can. They have what are they called? Moon cookies or something. They would put slips of paper in those. So that's Chinese. So close enough. Those are delicious too.
And the paper.
Go to your Asian market.
So Matthew, fan of the whole anime stuff. Because you're a gamer, you like a little bit of anime in there as well. Does anime suit DC, do you think?
I think if it's done correctly, it can. You know, like Frey was saying, that this is kind of a silly just a little run, light and funny. It's not meant to be serious. Superman, you know, gets done saving the day, wants to go have a meal, and then he goes to Japan. And I think the whole plot of the first issue was like he ordered like hamburger sushi, and he was being kind of judged because it looks just like a meal he would have back home. But then Aquaman is like, it's a meal you enjoy, just enjoy it. And so it was interesting. It was interesting.
It reminded me when you take kids to Chinese restaurants and they end up eating chicken nuggets. Like,
chicken
really?
nuggets? Yeah. Oh my god!
Chicken nuggets and chips.
My best friend was in town recently, and I was kind of poking fun at his wife because we all went out to dinner. We all got like these fancy meals, and his wife got chicken and nuggets. Yeah. And I was like, you know, at least you're consistent. At least you're consistent. You know what you want.
Exactly.
Yeah. You know what? I think this book kind of like different cuisines.
Yeah.
I think it's a great way to kind of try before you get really into it. You know, and I think using Superman or the DC universe is a great way to kind of introduce the idea of manga style. You know, you want when you go to a Chinese restaurant or an Asian restaurant, you want to eat something that looks semi-relatable to what you know within your circle of awareness, rather than going for, you know what, give me the squid, give me the half an octopus, because that thing looks awful. Although my wife doesn't like that.
Oh yeah.
Calamari.
I love calamari, but when I was in Tokyo, I went to this like barbecue place. It was all you can eat, and they had like squid on a stick, and it was just like the squid, the whole thing just skewered.
Oh yeah, and
I can't eat that. You have to cook it yourself. I couldn't eat. I love calamari, but when it has a face, I can't eat it.
we last time we were in Mexico, which was last year, 2022. We'd gone to the kind of fish place. We have like a fish restaurant on site, and I hate fish, so I was the chicken nuggets guy. It was fair enough. My wife was I'll have half the squid, and it is what it says. It's a squid.
Half a squid.
Chopped in half and then sort of like cooked or whatever. And I'm like, oh my god. To be fair, it looked absolutely gorgeous. I didn't try it, but it looked amazing. But you know,
no, I can't eat anything with a face. Like
try before
lobster, anything like if it has its face, I'm like, I can't.
Oh, crawfish. Oh man, crawfish boils are. Oh, it's talking about food for the soul. Oh my god, crawfish boils with spiced sausage, corn, potatoes, onions. Oh my god.
So while we're talking about food, let's have a quick go around. What are your Christmas food that only comes out at Christmas that you could eat any other time but you never do? Freyja, we'll start with you first. Is there anything special that you prepare?
That I make, or just in general?
Like a family thing, whatever.
So with my family, let's see, we always do like a honey glazed ham type of thing going on that we don't usually have. But yeah, but my real like celebration thing isn't until New Year's. My friend, he does a Cajun shrimp boil. And it's so good. If you don't know what it is, it's like it's shrimp, and then it has like potatoes and corn on the cob and stuff. And then he would make snow crab for us as well. And they would do spicy and non-spicy with the wimps. And then he'd roll out the butcher paper, and it just everything goes on the table, and you just eat it. It's really fun. It's good. It has sausage. Oh, it's so good. Cajun food's like my favorite, man.
Sounds great. Matthew? Anything in particular that's in the Knight household that screams Christmas?
My dad makes she crab soup.
What's with all the seafood? It's Christmas.
Depends on where you're from.
Yeah, it is a very rich soup made with sherry.
Ooh.
It's delectable. You have to use a specific type of crab meat. And last year he tried something a little different, and it didn't turn out as well. It came out too gamey, too fishy, but it's very good. I wish I knew what the ingredients were.
If it came out gamey, he's definitely done the fish wrong. Bird, right?
Yeah, I think that's like a South Carolina type of bisque, right?
Yeah.
It's from the south.
Mhm.
Johnny, you just need to come over here and go to the south and just eat food.
The
The south is where it's at, man.
For us, in my household, of course, has to be pigs and blankets.
Oh yeah, I used to do
Yeah,
that as a
yeah.
kid.
Pigs and
Yeah.
blankets, man. And in my household, we make, I'm going to get grief if I say it like this, but the savory balls. And the way it works is you get
Is it
little,
like meatballs?
kind of, but you get a little bit of pork, sausage meat, sprinkle in some sage stuffing, some white onion, not red onion, coat it in egg, breadcrumbs, and then deep fry it. And then after when it's cooled down, you eat it cold and you slice it, and it goes on top of your turkey. It's kind of like an accoutrement.
Interesting.
We have something that we just call sausage balls. It's made
similar. Yeah,
it's just sausage, spices, flour, onion, and you cook it is, and then you eat them.
Yeah.
You don't deep fry them as like the way you were saying, but it's pretty good. It's another staple that my dad made, but he hasn't made them in a while.
Let me just check. Let me just check to see Christmas flights for next year.
I was like, I don't make anything all that great. I make those. I make cheese balls from scratch, or the
cool.
I make a jalapeno popper one, so it's nice and spicy.
Cool.
But I don't do anything with meat though.
But when my stepson's gone vegetarian, so our Boxing Day buffet is like yesterday. My wife was putting little V flags together, veggie, so we can stick it in the food. But
that's cute. My family would be like, figure it out yourself.
Yeah.
We don't cater to anybody.
Me, I'm like, try it and see what happens. All right, back to comics. Next up is one of Matthew's choices. And you know what? This flew under the radar for me. I didn't think you'd go with this one, but I'm really pleased you did. I believe it's this one, is it not? Batman Beyond Neo-Gothic. Written by Jackson Lansing and Colin Kelly. Art by Max Dunbar. Sebastian Chang is on colours. Hassan Otsman LOL, who's on letters, who I met at Thought Bubble about 6 weeks ago. What a great guy. What an absolute star. Matthew, what was it about this book that you kind of, because you and Josh are mates, and Josh loves a bit of Batman Beyond. Does that kind of...
I will go ahead and admit here, I did not read this full run. I only read the first two books. But still, just from the first two books, it stuck out to me specifically just from the art style. It from what I'm remembering, it was absolutely gorgeous. The way the shading was done. There was one scene in particular where Terry drops down into the sewers, and you just see the sewer light, and he's peering into the darkness while crouched. Wonderfully well done. Wonderfully well done. It was beautiful. The scene where the fungus Batman comes out and they start fighting, just the art style is so unique and just well done to me. It stuck out. Especially in comparison with some of the other books that we had on the roster for this year, where the artwork, it felt like they went the safe route, and just kind of went middle of the lane. This one, they went balls to the wall. I mean, excuse my phrase, but
no, we're not going to name names for artists who go in the middle of the road and don't do anything dangerous, Mike Hawthorne. We're not going to say names at all, so it's fine. What I liked about the book, I'm glad you brought this book up, is how it continued on from the cartoon show, because one of the characters is Jane Splice, right, Freyja?
Yeah, it's the cat guy. Yeah.
So go on.
I'll say it when it's my turn to talk about it. Go ahead.
No, go for it now. Go for it.
No, I was just gonna say that I just really want a Batman Beyond movie with the gene spliced people.
All right. Okay.
It would be so cool.
Batman Beyond movie in general would just be fantastic.
Who's your Batman Beyond live action?
Oh man, that's a very.
Well,
I don't even.
Freyja's typing away like.
Yeah, we'd have to look up.
I'll tell you what I think. I don't know his name actually. Let me just find out. Let me find out.
My brain keeps trying to pull Matt Rife into it, but I don't think Matt Rife would be a decent Terry. He may have he may have the build for Terry, but not the personality and not the looks.
Yeah.
All right.
But
So
my whole
Tough choice.
who'd be old Bruce first of all?
old Bruce, Keaton.
I could see Michael Keaton. I could also. You may hate me for this, but what's his name? Played Jean Valjean.
Jean Valjean, Hugh Jackman?
No, not him. Sorry, the other one.
Russell Crowe.
Russell Crowe. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Shout. Yeah, that would be shout. My old Bruce would be Eric Dane, I think.
Okay.
Eric Dane from Grey's Anatomy, because he's a bit old now, isn't he? He's a bit older than Grey's Anatomy, so he's a little bit more weathered. I like the idea of Keaton, but I think it's just been done in the Flash movie.
Yeah.
I've already seen it, so I don't need to see it again.
Yeah.
So who'd be your Terry? Oh, sorry.
I was like, if they could age him up, I would be fine with oh God, why am I spacing on his name? I love him. Dean from Supernatural. Why am I blanking on his name? Jensen Ackles.
Oh, Jensen.
If they could age him up, because
everyone talks about Ackles for
Batman. I love him.
He voices Batman in an animated movie. I don't remember which one, but apparently
several now. Long Halloween. He's the Batman in that.
Apparently he does a fantastic job. So
which is all right, but I just no.
Yeah, I don't know. I just like Jensen Ackles.
What about me?
I love his voice.
I think I'd make a great old Bruce. Just give me a few years.
Yeah, my whole problem with Terry is like he's supposed to be like spoilers, people, like Bruce's clone, right?
Right.
So my main issue is
Robert Pattinson.
No, heck no. Gross. They could do Ben Affleck as old Batman too. But
you know what? I'd go with that, definitely.
Yeah.
We could do, because like the guys who are in their 20s, a lot of them just look too baby faced to be Terry. Like way too baby faced.
Well, Terry's young. He's supposed to be like high schooler, isn't he?
I know. That's why I'm like, I don't really know. And I don't know. I typed it in because I don't freaking know actors. Yeah. I don't know actors.
I just go to the movies.
I don't freaking. Well, my problem is I don't know them. Like maybe, like, because they're too baby faced for me. Maybe like Miles Teller. Maybe.
What have I seen Miles Teller?
I don't like.
I'll have to look him up. All right, there you go. That's something for me to do in the advert. All right.
Yeah, he was. Let me look him up for you.
Cheers.
The guy that they hinted
he was in Top Gun Maverick.
No, Goose's kid, no, Whiplash, no. God damn. Right, next book.
Or what about Tanner? No, he's too. See, that's my problem with the younger guys. I don't like any of them too much. Like there could be Tanner Butchen, the guy who was in Cobra Kai. He was like the bad kid, whatever. He's all that. I don't know. He's a young guy. But like I was like, they're too. Nobody comes to mind with Terry. That's the problem.
Okay. Fair enough.
I don't think anyone's good enough.
I think if you have a decent actor playing old Bruce, I think you can get relatively unknown to play Terry, and that would build into the
that'd be good
perfectly. But
that'd be good.
Right, my first choice. I went with this bad boy because I love the change of pace that came with this book. It's right in the middle of the whole superheroes are bad propaganda that Amanda Waller has been running practically all year. So this is Wonder Woman #1 or Legacy 901, depending on how you're looking at it. Written by Tom King, who some people love or hate. I'm one of those. I either love or hate him. Daniel Tempier is on art. Tomei Mori is on colors, and Clayton Cowles is on letters. So pretty much, a bit of a murderer's row for DC, mainly. So this book sees the Amazons losing their diplomatic status in the States and being told to move out practically. And Wonder Woman is like, no. It all boils down to an Amazon
no.
attack in which some American citizens killed, and that fuels the whole anti-Amazon thing. We've seen Amazons at war before. Amazon's attack was around for a few years ago, but I think this kind of changes Wonder Woman's dynamic a little bit. It's interesting to see her on the back foot, considering she's probably more truth, justice in the American way at this point than Superman is, by far. Plus, I think Tom King writes really good women characters. I can't say Tom King without saying the Supergirl book from a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And how much I loved that. So for me, this is just like a win-win. Matthew, what was your take on this book?
I don't remember it.
Okay.
I don't remember it. I'm looking at the cover, desperately trying to remember what all happened.
Okay, well, issue 2 has a go up against a platoon of soldiers, and she takes on tanks, and she was using them as a baseball bat. Really pretty good.
That sounds pretty entertaining, not gonna lie.
All right, that's cool. That's cool.
The cover itself is really well done. I was specifically looking at the hair.
Yeah.
Whoever did the hair, just phenomenal job. Just fantastic. Yeah. Whoever did the leg probably could use some work because it looks like she slipped on a banana peel and is about to topple over.
No. I'm liking the leg. Like, there's only one thing missing from that leg.
Just fishnets.
Well, I didn't say a word. I mean, obviously you see the same thing I see. That's all I'm saying. I didn't say a word.
If her leg was a little bit more straight, I'd be perfectly okay with it. But it does look like she stepped on something and just went whoop.
I think if it was too straight, it reminds me of that Jim Lee post with Batman and Nightwing. So I think it's all right with that. Freyja, you were for this book. What do you think?
I remember kind of liking it, but not really at the same time.
To be fair, you are not a Wonder Woman fan.
No, that's why I'm like, everyone knows I'm not a Wonder Woman fan, so I'm just like, I was like, yeah, I remember liking the art style for the most part. Story-wise, it was like, I don't know, I'm just sick of Amanda Waller. I've been sick of Amanda Waller for like years at this point. She's like Harley Quinn at this point. I'm like, why? And Joker, I'm like, why are they everywhere? Just someone else, please. Just stop focusing on one person forever. I don't know. It was interesting. I remember saying it was an interesting premise. I didn't read anymore after the first book that we covered because I'm just not a Wonder Woman fan. So I mean,
fair enough.
What can I say?
That's fine. That's fine. Issue 2 is out in the stores now. So by all means, if you're interested to find out what's going on in the world of Wonder Woman, go and check it out. You should be able to pick it up. There are a host of variant covers for number 1. It is purely your choice if you pick one up or if you can even afford one, because they are bonkers prices.
Yeah.
Bonkers. Time for an advert for one of our other shows while we get the next book primed, ready to go. Where do we go? Does anyone have a preference?
Where do I go from here?
No preference?
Nope.
All right, I shouldn't have sing that because Disney. Anyways, no preference.
Don't mention them.
Don't mention, don't mention Disney Who to me. Thank you very much. All right. Here we go. It's time. Well, it's Christmas. Let's see if you got anything like this for Christmas. Time for a crisis. Santa have been really, really, really good. Can I have the Batman and Robin, Batman and Batgirl, please? From
well, let me. How much is that worth? Sorry, little Johnny. We'll have to work about something else.
Oh man!
If you can get me real life Shishomaru, I'll be happy. Get me Shishomaru, please.
Look, you already have cooler stuff than I do. Like, I've got my Gundams. I've got some stuff. I'm looking at you, and you've got like a 2-foot tall Gara and the one tail statue. Don't talk to me.
Yeah, that thing's expensive, man. Do you know how much that is?
A lot. A lot. I'm pretty familiar with how expensive some figurines can get.
I was recently gifted. It's not a figurine, but it might be interested. I was recently gifted a sealed pack of Justice League tarot cards.
Ooh. That's cool. I just have the plain, boring, normal tarot cards.
So I'll dig them out. I've recently been gifted them, and I'm not opened them yet, but they look really good. So
that's cool.
Cool. All right, time for another book, and Santa's going to be happy. This is how I get on the nice list for Santa.
Ooh!
Yes! Look at it!
Am I on the list now, Santa?
You know what?
We can make some adjustments.
Right, okay, so this is Justice League versus King Kong, who's not showed up yet, versus Godzilla, who's in at least 2 panels. Written by Brian Buccellato, Tom Derrick's on art, and Christian Juice's on, I think it must be colors or inks. I don't have a full creator list on this one, I'm sorry to say. But Matthew, this is, I think, your book of the year.
Yes.
Without reservation.
Hands down. Yes. Anybody who's watched the show long enough knows how big of a Godzilla fan I am. So seeing the big man, the big G on the screen on the comic book it's fantastic to me. Look, it can be like a crappy story, and I'll still at least enjoy it for the artwork. But so far from what I've read, it's not a crappy story. It's actually pretty interesting. The second issue has come out. I haven't gotten around to reading it yet. But just from the first issue, Godzilla does show up in 2 panels. Kong shows up in 1. And everything else is Superman trying to get everything done because he has a date with Lois. He has something important that he wants to do. Propose. If I remember correctly, come out. No. Sorry, Lois. Me and Batman are more than just friends.
Hey, don't joke. They might actually do it.
Oh God, please no. But of course, Godzilla shows up at the end of the day. The team of supervillains. The League of Supervillains, they raid the Fortress of Solitude, steal a couple things. It's really well done how the supervillain team, instead of just raiding it and instead of just grabbing everything, they're like, we have one thing we're going to get. One thing. That's all we're getting. It's showing that they're more than just trying to do a heist and steal everything, that they have a plan in motion. I thought it was kind of a cool little story note. And then Gorilla Grodd seeing Kong and goes, "Oh my God, he's dummy thick." It was really good, really funny. Artwork is fantastic. Both of the scenes that we have with just Godzilla show how mighty and terrifying he is. It's not like Godzilla's fighting something. It's like him staring down the city. And he's about to just unleash a wave of destruction. He has that grimace on his face. It's really good. I could continue gushing about this. It's fantastic. Please go pick this up.
Easy there, Santa. Easy.
Look, I'm just saying. I only come once a year.
That's what she said. Anyway,
what did she say? Freyja, what do you think about this?
So I agree. I've been a Godzilla super fan since I was a child. I watched all the corny 50s through 70s and 60s movies from Japan. And I went and saw Godzilla -1 this past weekend.
I haven't seen it yet.
Well, it's out of theaters now, sucker.
And Freyja's just got on the naughty list.
I've been on the naughty list. What are you talking about?
I live on the naughty list.
Honestly, if you have like a Crunchyroll account, they have Shin Godzilla on there, so I wouldn't put it past them to put Godzilla -1 on there.
I hope so.
For everyone who's missed it, because it was only in theaters until like they said the 17th, which is today, I guess. So, but I love it. This series, I like seeing Godzilla. They kind of went Shin Godzilla with like the blue glow, with the spikes that are glowing, or not Shin Godzilla, Godzilla -1 look, with the glowy blue spikes and everything blue. Just to
tie in, I suppose, isn't it?
I guess, synergy. But like, yeah, synergy, man. But it's really good. I do enjoy it. We did have. But I already dissed Matthew. I gotta diss you too, man. It's just fairness. Everyone's equal. But like,
it's the holiday for giving, and everyone gets these hands. You know.
Everyone gets the hands at least once. Yeah. But I remember we nitpicked a little bit with continuity because Godzilla, me, both of us, with like Godzilla being in the ocean and then not in the ocean. Just little nitpicks like that. I do overall like the art style. I love the variant covers though that they have, because I think they have two that look like 1950s like movie monster posters, which I really like. Just not $35 like. I'm not dropping that much cash for a variant cover. But yeah, I quite enjoyed this. I think it's more to tie in with the Hollywood movie more than -1, but I don't know why they didn't just make Godzilla glow pink then, because in the Godzilla Kong movie he's glowing pink.
It's because this was being designed first before they had that situation, and it's there's a thing.
Okay, that makes sense. But yeah, I like the inclusion of the other monsters. I kind of wish Mothra was one and not this bat creature.
Second issue, yeah. So that's a great point. It does go a little bit Monster Island in the second issue, where other monsters appear across the DC landscape, and the heroes team up to take down the said monsters of their time. So, for example, the Bat family team up to take on down the Bat creature that Frey is mentioning. Wonder Woman and Green Arrow go to Themyscira, and so on. I remember very vehemently saying that I want my money back on this because it's supposed to be Justice League versus Godzilla versus King Kong, and King Kong is not in this hardly at all. This is like saying let's have a Justice League versus Godzilla versus King Kong, and Superman not being there. It's bollocks. Pardon my French. But issue 3 does redress the balance. Issue 3, Kong makes his appearance. So Matthew, you'll be able to ape out as much as you like. Outwise, it was all right. There are a little inconsistencies. We talked about the staging of Godzilla. Supergirl looks like Power Girl sometimes, physique-wise, and it is out of continuity. So any sort of snafus around uniform, you see Supergirl on the cover there. That's not her current uniform, of course. So it is what it is. It's a multimedia tie-in. If you love Kong, if you love Justice League, if you love Godzilla, you'll probably get a kick out of this. It's not for me, but I absolutely do love how excited Matthew gets about this. So, if you can get Matthew excited about it, then there must be something going on.
It's just it's fun time.
The little child in me just starts vibrating. Just
okay. Santa.
Got it.
Gosh, we're not. I was thinking pure. I had pure thoughts.
Yeah, hey, so was I.
Pure as your driven Snow White beard. Next up. We'll do another one of Freyja's. We might have to miss one out, but we'll see how we go for time. Freyja, we don't normally talk Vertigo style books, even though DC are really pushing Black Label throughout this year. Sandman Universe and House on the Lake and stuff like that was all part of that. It's interesting to see Black Label move away from just being serious Batman stories. And this is clearly not a Batman story in any shape, way, or form. This is Dead Boy Detectives. Toby Litt is the writer. Mark Buckingham, ironically I can't say it in time, is the writer-artist. Gary Erickson's on inks, Lee Luffridge is on colours, and letters are by Todd Klein. Freyja, our only Black Label book, has the tarnish of Black Label finally dropped, or is Sadman the last surviving holdout, do you think?
I don't know about tarnished, but like this book, honestly, when I was reading it, it didn't feel Black Label like at all. Even though it really, I think maybe because of the art style, it didn't feel like it. Because I remember the evil spirit. I'm blanking on what it's called, where it's just a head with a spinal cord and like the lungs and stuff. It is very grotesque, and I was like, yeah, okay, maybe it is, but like, and like the amount of blood that's in it. So I guess yes, it is should be 18 plus, but like it didn't feel
children ghosts, man. The kids have been killed already. You know, it's not like that's not exactly a Gremlin style movie for Christmas, is it?
Yeah, but The Sixth Sense had a child with his head blown off. So I mean, that was PG-13. So like, you know, this one, the art style was very Sandman-y, you know, unique weirdness.
Off-world, I would say.
Yeah, like it's just kind of interesting. I just liked it because I liked seeing the different types of spirits that are in different, you know, cultures, and this one was very much the Thai culture, which I really liked. And the two boys, I like them. I like how they play off of each other. I actually like the whole cast of characters in this series, even though technically the first issue was the very last day of 2022.
See, I wasn't going to mention that. I was going to mention that.
I'm going to because I know somebody's going to, and I'm just going to be like, yes, okay. Issue 1 came out December 31st, 2022, but the rest of it came out in 2023. And I'm just talking like overall, this whole series was good. I liked this whole run for them. I liked all of the issues. There was only 6 of them. I think there should have been more. I liked it. Also,
to get another case, doesn't it? That's the thing.
Yeah. Well, and I was going to mention that Netflix is going to release Dead Boy Detectives TV series next year. And it looks pretty good. One of the boys, they kind of seem to have made him like, I don't know, he looks more like a 1980s punk kid, kind of. I don't know. He doesn't look prim and proper like they had both of them. So they kind of, I guess, it's make him play off a little bit. So that's coming out, and they've done pretty good with the Sandman universe. Netflix has so far. So, you know, but yeah, I like this. It's kind of creepy, grotesque, but not like overly disgusting, you know. So
yeah, I get where you're coming from. It's kind of, there's some thought-provoking things in there. The art style gives it a kind of easygoing sense to some extent, but then of course you've got the kind of ectoplasmic outer dimension stuff come into play, which kind of just throws everything up for a loop. So you're not quite sure what you're going to get page on the next page. It can be kind of like more of the same, you know, the erstwhile love and the kids that fancy the girl who's dead and all that sort of stuff, versus these grotesque kind of like other worlds in which the ghosts live. It's a mishmash of different ideas, and it works really well. Matthew, did you manage to catch one of these?
I don't think so. Think so.
That's fine.
There was a issue a while back that I remember reading where they were Korean kids, I want to say.
One of them,
or there was one of them that was Korean, and they were fighting a bunch of ghosts. They were trying to find a ritual to stop somebody from resurrecting. It's been a hot minute.
That sounds about right. All right, but I mean, obviously, when it comes to scary stuff, your personal preference is something a little bit more terrifying I suppose. With a name like Knight, it had to be this one, didn't it, right?
It had to be your worst night terrors.
There we go. Boom. Now, this one, I picked Night Terrors #1. We did look at different issues. The main writer for this book is Joshua Williamson. Now, for the Night Terrors main book itself, the artists were Casper Wignard, Giuseppe Camungoli, Stefano Nessi, Howard Potter, letters by Troy Patiri, Frank Martin, and also colours by Chris Batchelor. I think we looked at the main book, and I think we looked at Zatanna as well, did we not?
We looked at Zatanna.
All right, okay. So talk to us about the Zatanna book. What was it that we liked about Zatanna? We touched about it at the start of the show.
So much like with the Batman Beyond, Neo Gotham, the artwork in this is what immediately caught my eye. Just the shading, the detail in some situations. There's a scene with in the Zatanna book where she's crying and a vision of her father is talking to her, and it's like this undead vision of her father, and she turns, and the expression on her face is just really well done. The tears rolling down her face. It's fantastic artwork. I did go and read Night Terrors, Robin, Superman. Robin was the story of Tim Drake and Jason Todd teaming up to fight their worst nightmares, so to speak, with Tim Drake not being able to save his father. And so he was in this loop over and over and over again where he's just trying to rush over and save his dad, but he kept dying. With Jason, he was fighting against the original Red Hood that kept multiplying and multiplying every single time he thought he won. It kept coming back, but more until they managed to get away into some kind of respite area and talk amongst themselves and kind of like the boys bumping each other up, like, no, you're good. No, this is, you shouldn't be thinking bad about yourself. This is what's good about you. And so they were hyping each other up and allowed them to save the day, which was really fun. It wasn't the best story plot, but it was fun. The villain is Insomnia, who is chasing the Nightmare Stone, which is the antithesis to the Dream Stone. And Deadman takes over Batman's body to try to stop him. I love Insomnia's design with his eyelids being torn off, and he's just constantly got this wide, aghast look with him. It's really cool. It's really cool. But he's, like I said, he's trying to find the Nightmare Stone in order to bring people's worst nightmares into real life. And this was part of the whole run where they're trying to make the superheroes into the, like, people aren't viewing superheroes as superheroes. They're actually the villains, and that's how he views the entire Justice League, and he's trying to make the entire world see from his point of view. So it was that story plot. It was that story plot, but it was really good. I think it was really good. I really liked the designs that we got from the villain versions of the superheroes, that the nightmare versions. It was cool. The one I can think of is from the Zatanna book with what's his name?
Robot Man.
But I was trying to think of his actual name. But he gets turned into the Rustbringer, where his head opens up, exposing the brain. He gets this super demonic. I thought it was a really cool design. Make my monster grow.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, it did have some Rita Repulsa vibes with that villain. Yeah, I can see it. But
that's fine. Cool.
That cover.
Zatanna there.
Good cover.
Easy, Santa. You're close to being naughty, Santa.
Look, I check everyone else's list. Everyone else on the list.
You get a pass, right? Freyja, what do you think of Night Terrors as a whole?
As a whole, it was hit and miss each issue. I think my main issue was specific, like, okay, with issue #1, and we talked about this. it throws you in pretty much right in the middle of Batman being attacked by what's his name, whatever, the insomnia, and it just kind of throws you in. They're like, what the, I remember we're like, what the hell's going on? This is issue number 1. What is going on? There was no, it just went, oh, Dead Man's in Batman. I'm like, okay. I feel like I missed issues. And we did. You had to read like 6 other issues before you got here. And
you make a great point. Batman Possessed is pretty much one of the key points for the whole Lazarus Planet stuff. So it's like, hold on a second, are you just running out the same storyline again?
Yeah, and I remember we looked at not only did we look at Zatanna Night Terrors, but we also looked at Punchline Night Terrors as well.
Oh yeah, there was a Punchline Night Terrors.
Yeah, there was a Punchline one.
With Robot Batgirl, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, well, Punchline's involved Batgirl, yeah, and like, I don't know. My main issue with this, I like the art style. A lot. There was some nice like oil painting, dark acrylic looking painting style mixed in, especially at the beginning of the first one. It's very cool. It's very nice. So I like it done. And then it switches art styles, and I still kind of like it. But like, my main issue with the whole arc is that whole. You have to literally go online, figure out what books you need to buy because it's not contained in the title. Like I said, you had to read like 6 other books before you even got to Night Terrors 1 to even know what the hell is going on in Night Terrors 1. And they did that with the Wonder Woman thing. And I'm like, it's super frustrating when you just want to read the main story, but you can't even do that because you have to buy, Batman 365 or Wonder Woman 1080 or something, and it's not self-contained, and that's what my main issue was with this. Not so much the story in itself, but just how they went about the story, and it's just difficult.
Fair shot.
Yeah, it's fair. It's valid.
It's a valid point. Event books like Night Terrors, the Amazon thing, Lazarus Planet. You know, there are a whole host of books that you don't want to buy because you don't particularly like the character, and you feel now beholden to buy it because something happens down the line. Before we move on to my last choice, I just thought I'd throw this cover up. I haven't seen too much hentai to know what's going on.
That was my immediate reaction, and then I realized the snake was just biting her lip, which can be.
That's foreplay, right?
Yeah, that's just foreplay at that point.
It's like, what?
Easy,
Tiger. Get myself back on the naughty list.
You can join me.
Good. All right. Go on, Eggy Park. Go for it. All right. The last book I think that we're going to talk about is Superman Lost, which I think was kind of such a breath of fresh air. It so kind of came out of left field. Like, what? A couple of situations in the book are a bit dodgy. What happens with the water and so on and so forth when they're underwater? How does the lasso not keep them away from the black hole? All that sort of stuff. But it's written primarily by Christopher Priest with a writing assist and art from Carlo Pagulayan. Jason Pez is on inks, Jeremy Cox is on colors, and Willie Schubert is on letters. The idea here is that Superman is transported light years away from Earth, and as such manages to come back after what seems to be a relatively short time for everyone on Earth, but in his time it's been decades, and he's had to live like several lives. There is an interesting subplot coming into Action Comics from this, and the crazy Green Lantern lady that he's had an affair with is reportedly going to show up with a baby in tow. So look out, Lois! You're going on there, Jerry Springer. My husband fathered an alien love child. I'm sure I saw that on Jerry Springer once. Art-wise, it is. I think it's probably the standard DC house style. Superman looks like Superman. They all look like who they're supposed to look like. A little bit Bride Hitch in places, maybe. But all in all, it's been an interesting ride to see how Superman kind of maintains his Clark Kent sense of right and wrong when he's away from essentially home field.
Yeah.
It's been an absolute blast. Freyja, what were your thoughts on this book?
Well, I remember I liked the story as a whole, like the whole premise and story and whatnot. It was very interesting. It was interesting to see a superhero suffering from PTSD who isn't Batman. So it's very interesting. Art style, like you said, it's just kind of like standard DC art style, you know, and you know, it's just, it was interesting. I keep saying it was interesting, but yeah, it was very.
This off the one for Christmas, please.
Yeah, it was. I liked it. I didn't like keep up with it, and I do remember the like. I was always thinking, why did they just send Aquaman into the watery grave thing? Why did they have to send Superman? Aquaman can literally breathe underwater. Why send Superman?
Yeah,
you know.
Right.
He can also communicate with fish. Why didn't he send a fish in there? You know,
Yeah.
Like, why did it have to be Superman? But
oh my god.
Yeah, but it was. I enjoyed it. I didn't keep up with it though. I only read it when we talked about it. But what I read, I enjoyed.
Cool.
So yeah.
Matthew.
I agree with you, Johnny. It was kind of a breath of fresh air just seeing how Superman dealt with the things while away from home. You know, trying to continue his sense of morality when he doesn't have his friends to back him up while he's by himself and making his own decisions. It was cool. Yeah. That's all I've got to say about it.
Not much to say about this one.
Okay, which is a fair point. I get it. It's a Superman book, and everyone's like, yeah, it's Superman. I get that. But I think what the books we've chosen this time around for this year has proven is that rather than go, to use Matthew's phrase, balls to the wall, there have been some quiet quality books out there. But I think I worry that they get lost in the swathe of middle of the road stuff that just doesn't engage. Batman in the Multiverse, for example. Does anybody care about how that book went? Really?
I don't even remember that book.
There you go.
Exactly.
The main Batman
I was
book.
like, is that a book?
Yeah, so the main Batman book had him stuck in the multiverse, and you're kind of thinking, what? After Failsafe? Failsafe, this is the year that Batman fell from space without a spacesuit and survived. That's this year.
I remember that. That was a thing that happened and didn't need to.
Yeah. Where's my suspension of disbelief? It's in orbit with Batman.
With Batman. They need to just replace a lot of these books that have Batman with somebody else. Like, there is no reason. There is well, but does he really? Is he really selling when people are making fun of freaking panels like that? And he's in every single book. No one's going to be, unless you're freaking loaded, nobody's going to be buying every single book just because it's a I'm an ultra fan for Batman, and I'm not going out buying every single book because it has Batman in it.
Freya, I'm with you. I don't buy every single Bat book. But I like characters like Green Lantern, and we spoke last time on the show. He doesn't get a fair shake of the ball like anybody else. We love Black Canary. She doesn't seem to get a fair shake. We love The Question. When was the last time you saw The Question?
We saw The Question in a Shaggy, or not Shaggy, the Scooby-Doo crossover.
It was in a Black Label book 3 years ago, maybe.
Yeah.
But you kind of think to yourself, there's a whole host of characters out there, but because Warner Brothers are so bat-focused, because that's the only movie DC Warner Brothers can put out and have any semblance of success with, then they're going to go with where the money goes. And you know what? We all saw the last Flash movie. Who can agree that Keaton's the best thing in it?
Well, that's because they're just writing shit movies. That movie was atrocious. If they wrote Aquaman like freaking Game of Thrones, I guarantee you people would go see that.
We've had that conversation.
I like he is literally. It is literally set up where you could pull a full Game of Thrones thing, where everyone's trying to take the throne of Atlantis. Like Mara could just straight up be trying to kill him the whole time. You don't even need to really make her do like Mr. and Mrs. Smith freaking romance with them, where she's trying to kill him. You know, do that sort of thing. Like, you know, it's just not knowing how to write the characters that they have, and that's the main issue. Like,
so then let me ask you a question then before we run this up before we get into an infamous Freyja rant for Christmas.
I think he's glitching.
Who, me?
Oh,
Santa.
Okay.
I'm here.
You're glitching like a robot, and then Santa's going in and out of focus.
What are you looking forward?
He froze. We broke him, Matthew.
Hey, what are you looking forward to in the new
I'm looking
year?
forward to.
let the man speak, Freyja. Let the man speak.
I am, but I hear it.
Freyja, I'm not seeing anything wrong from my end.
Okay.
I'm just saying, I haven't seen anything wrong on my end.
Freyja. All right, Matthew. Whilst Freyja starts to check out,
but you're not moving.
Right. Okay. Right, Matthew, what are you looking forward to in the new year, or what would you like to see?
I don't know, honestly. I don't know what to expect within the new year.
Good question.
I would like to see more lighthearted books. Because especially the last 2 years, we've definitely seen a lot gritty stuff. You know, as I mentioned before, DC vs. Vampires, Task Force Z, which are two of my favorite run series, and then Night Terrors, which was dark and gritty. And I get, you know, Halloween stuff, go dark and gritty, but don't have event books that last throughout the year that are meant to be that horror style. Do something lighthearted, more stuff like Meshy.
Yeah,
more stuff like Meshy would be nice.
Freyja?
I want to see next year is, honestly, I want to go a full year without an event book. No events, just contained arcs. Contained arcs within their own books. Don't have this like end of the world universe thing. Just have the superheroes do their own thing. Don't want any crossover. Well, we can have a crossover here and there, but let everyone just stay in their own cities. Like Batman stays in Gotham, Superman does his thing in, you know, Metropolis. Flash stays in Central City, Central City, whatever. And like everyone stay put, you know, everyone do your thing. We don't need a cataclysmic event every 5 issues, you know.
Cool.
Just I am also looking forward to the continuation of Godzilla, King Kong, and all that. As I just said, I don't want them, whatever. But I am looking forward to that because I'm a huge Godzilla fan. So
I would like to see Batgirl get some more prominence. The Barbara Gordon Batgirl. I'd like that to be done seriously. I'd like Satana to get her own book for a while.
Oh, with fishnets.
With fishnets. I think that would be a good call. I think there are some light-hearted books out there already. Power Girl's not exactly particularly seriously minded. It's whether or not you can dig the current book and current style. But you know, I think there's, you know, we'll see what the future brings. And with that, we're going to bring the show to an end. We are recording before Christmas, so I will say now, guys, it's been an absolute blast of a year. Thank you so much for spending so much of your time on the show. Your opinions are always valued. Your efforts are really, really appreciated. The show wouldn't be a show without you guys. So thank you, Freyja. Thank you, Matthew. You've been both absolute stars this year. I hope you have a fantastic Christmas, and I hope the new year is prosperous as you hope.
You too, Johnny.
Thanks. Yeah, thanks for putting up with me every year for the past 6-7 years.
It's been a while.
I know.
Well, I've had relationships that have gone shorter.
I know. You can't just get away.
All right.
Thank you for continuing to invite me back. I really enjoy spending time with you guys. It's a lot of fun.
Matthew, there's always a seat for you here. You know that. Always a seat. Right. So that's That's it now. You're part of the furniture now, Santa. Sorry, mate.
Yeah. And just so you know, I become snarky because I enjoy you. If I'm too polite, it means I don't like you.
Well, in that case, it must be love, Freyja. That's all I'm
It
saying.
is. I love you.
Love you. All right, guys. Whatever you're doing for Christmas, I hope you had an absolute blast. I hope you have a great New Year for everyone who's watching. Adults, don't get too drunk. Kids, don't let your adults get too drunk. And for everyone else, have a great and fantastic 2024. Don't forget to check out UCPN over Christmas. We do have shows dropping. There is No Prize Podcast for you Marvel fans. There's No Timers Jeopardy coming up. Freyja?
And we have an episode of K-Pop Cosmos. We're going to be talking about the girl group aespa, who has started to really shine this year.
Cool. Excellent. Matthew? Any Christmas gameplay going on for you?
It will be over by the time this episode comes out, but I've been partnered with Toys for Tots, helping raise money on my Twitch through streams to help provide Christmas for those who are less fortunate than those who can provide for themselves. And so I was given this amazing opportunity. So it may be over by the time this episode comes out. I may still have the charity up, but I want to get all that proceedings to the charity so that they can get things for Christmas. So
perfect.
But in the meantime, still go check out the Late Night channel over on Twitch. We play video games. We have a fun time. I may have, depending on how well this charity goes, the next time you see me, I may be bald, or I may have my beard dyed. Who knows? So
can I give some money to make you go bald?
Yeah.
The goal is 100 subs. The goal is 100 subs. So if you donate 100 subs, I'll do it.
Okay.
I have no idea what that means. We'll talk afterwards. For everyone else, have a great festive time. Stay safe. We'll see you in 2024. I've been your host, Johnny the Machine Hughes, and as always, adios.
Bye.